Alright, so this is my build of the Zvezda Star Destroyer. This is from Russia, with love. One of the most beautiful Star Destroyers I've seen for the price. What I really like about it, now you can obviously see its size, has so many advantages, and while this is a piece that would look lovely in any room, even if you didn't light it, this is really meant to be lit. You can do a lot with this with lighting. You get your hands in here, store a lot of components, and really go to town with this. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I'm going to do in this first video of this build. A couple of things. If you want to pick this up, probably now's the time. If you think it's expensive, it's going to get a lot more expensive in about a year from now. So right now it runs for about $80 US, and it takes about a month to get here, and that's about $50 worth of shipping from Russia. Okay. So very nice. Now I've assembled some pieces. One thing you're not going to want to do if you're going to light this is that you're not going to want to follow the instructions to the T. So you want to build all the components, the larger components, and at least some of the smaller ones off. So what I'm speaking about is I'm not putting on the guns, which are pretty much on the first of the cannons that go over here, are on the first or second page of the instructions. You can see that I've left off this front part over here. You know, I'm going to put that on last. Of course, paint them all at the same time, and then leave off as much as I can so I can see what I'm doing underneath the hood. So let's talk about how I'm going to do this. Number one, I'm going to use fiber optics, and so I think this is the this is a 3mm fiber optics. I've been doing some tests. 3mm fine, and then also 5mm, and I have ordered 2.5mm, I think it was. I'm going to try out a couple of things before I put them in, but I do want to see a variance of the lights. The reason why I'm doing fiber optics, I saw some people are doing the LED strips. That works great too. I've used that in a couple of models. But here, this is more accurate to what the movie studio model is. And it gives you a little more control, because you'll note, I don't want to make it a Christmas tree, but some of the lights, there's a few red ones that are in the actual full-size model from the film, so I want to at least have some different colors there. You can't achieve that with the LED tape, but at the same time, I don't want to go that route. So what I have been using is I picked this up for the Dremel, and I actually ordered a couple more because I've seen a lot of people saying that they break very easily, but I'm using the 1/32 bit for the Dremel tools, and also the fixture that you need to get for the Dremel to use the drill bits. And that actually is about 7.9, so it's 8mm. That's what the conversion is for the 1/32. Okay. So the other thing I'll talk about very quickly is that as you start to work on this, it's easy to see that you're going to have a lot of light leak. When you start fastening some of the components together, you can definitely see some light leaks. So a couple of things, you've seen some other people talk about this, is that you can use the canopy glue before priming it on the inside, before covering it on the inside. So you can use the canopy glue to seal up those light leaks. You can also use the scenic cement, which is a little bit more milky and liquidy, and you can actually brush it on. So if you want to use that, you're getting the same results, and you can tighten that up there, and it dries pretty quick. All right, so that's that about that. Another thing you'll note is that as it relates to the walls and some of the pieces here, some of these pieces fit really nicely. Some of the corner pieces, you start to see that you're getting some seams that need to be filled up there. So I'll probably put some putty on there before I do my first shot of prime on the outside. And what I do plan on doing is using a black prime all around on the outside and a double shot probably on the inside, so I can at least get this to be as light leak friendly as possible, and just cover it all up and make sure I'm not getting any spill that's coming through the plastic. Alright, so that's good. A couple things to talk about as to how I'm going to do this. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention was I saw a lot of people so far that we're starting to do videos on these, put these together, and what they're doing is that their intention's perfectly fine. It's all up to you. You can do it any way you want. Is that they're building their own stands down below, and that is where they're going to run their wiring. Oops, that's where they're going to run their wiring down below into the stand and put the base on there. I plan on doing it differently. I plan on actually putting the batteries inside the model, and then what I'm going to do is I'll fix a switch somewhere, okay? My second component to that is that I'm probably going to try and see what I can do to magnetize this top section to be able to remove that to change the batteries, okay? That way I can change stands, I can do what I want with it over time, and I'm not basically dependent on the stand running the actual power. Now, on the inside, there's these battery cases for 9-volt batteries, okay? I may use one, I may use two, I don't know yet. But at the same time, depending on what kind of lights and what I'm powering, I may have to use two, I don't know. But at the same time, they fit very, very nicely in here. Okay, so you can get 1, 2, 3, as many as you want. So again, this model is very, very nice. You have a lot of room to work with in here. If you look at this front section, you know, I mean, it's the size of some Star Destroyers that are actually in models of this size, like I think the Revell one and things like that. So I mean, you've got so much more room to work with. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, and I learned this this trick, or this one of the things I did on the Hasbro Falcon project, is, and this model works well for this, is there's basically multiple sections to this that need to be lit. So let's talk about them. There's the front section here, okay? So what I'm going to do here for the front section is I'll probably go ahead and drill a couple of holes right in there like that, and then have the fibers come in for the left side over here, the right side over here, and then maybe another section, another set of fibers that are going to light the top panels here. Okay, so there's that. The next section is the core area here, which will be responsible for this top part, and then also the side walls here, and on the other side, of course. Now there's another section that's going to fit on top, which I just mentioned over here, which I haven't built yet, obviously. That'll be the cap. And they will have their own lights too, so that whole section there. And then the final two pieces will be the tower in the back that has its own lights, and then the engines. So the advantage is that I can work on these first, or these first, the base part here first, doesn't make a difference. Then I can work on the engines, then I can work on the top part, and then I can work on the tower, in no particular order. I mean, in the instructions you have to build those independently anyways. Now what I'm going to do is, as I was mentioning, this came up on the Falcon project towards the end, is each one of those sections will have a male and female connector like this. Okay, so I'll get in here and pull this apart. So it's basically male-female. So I'll have the main components basically down here receiving all of these wires, and then each section will plug in. So once I'm finished wiring that independently, I don't have to worry about getting in there and soldering. I've done all this off to the side, and then all I have to do is bring them in and then plug them in and connect them, and I'm good to go. So that is what I'm going to do on this model. So this is the beginning, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to work on filling in some of these cracks. I am going to work on the light leaking with the canopy glue or the scenic cement. And then I'm going to do the black primer on the inside and the black primer on the outside. As I said, I'm waiting for some materials to come in, specifically some of the fiber optics and also some more drill bits. But I also will begin the drilling process too, to see how that goes. So I'll start beginning the drilling process. One thing I'll let you know, by the way, the 1/32 drill bit, basically I did test that with the 3mm fiber optic and the 5mm fiber optic, and they both fit nicely in there. Of course, this is mushrooming the ends, but they both fit nicely in there. I have not tried out the 2.5mm fiber optic yet, but I'll see if I'm going to be using that. So next video you'll see the drilled holes, you'll also see the different color and then the sealing done, and I'll talk about some of the next steps going forward and show you what I've done. And anything comes up as far as obstacles, I'll be happy to share during that process. So thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions down below, now's the time. If you have any work that you want to share with us and others, post a link down below. Any videos you like, any reference material. This is all about us working together and just trying to build great stuff. So feel free to share whatever you want. If you have any questions, I always answer them. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.